Hey guys, Battleblood here again. I've got another video within the same day as the last video, April 30th. I don't know, April 30th we decided to mess around on different schools. So once again, Ronan's on his myth, Aaron Moonbane, and I'm on my death, Kevin Ironblood. And we're just gonna do a little 2v2 here just to change it up a bit. So anyways, let's now that we have new cards and new spells, new strategies, let's see what we're gonna do. So, looking at their health and looking at their their pets as well, we kind of figured, well, they might be a firestorm combo with Jack on Storm, obviously, and Jose on Dragon. So, knowing that, oh, we've got a Bolter, Jack Stormrider right there, going straight for Aaron because he has lower health, we know that we need to get convictions up because they're very crit heavy, they're very hit heavy as well. But these guys are warlords, so they sort of know what they're doing. Actually, they do know what they're doing. So at this point, luckily, those shields that Jack has up won't affect either of us. And I believe I only have a few attacks this time just because it's 2v2 and I don't want to go entirely support. Especially with Aaron being a myth player. I mean, if I'm going to support, I will definitely be casting plagues uh, and beguiles, and therefore, if Aaron knocks out blades, during beguile and whatnot, he would lower the attack on the other player, and um, they won't be hurting the allies that much. But anyways, typically just seeing that there are 8 pips on the board, gonna have beguile the storm right there. So he ends up critically. There's a block right there, and the tower is removed, but he's gonna be stunned now. So he's given stun shields, and Jack is out of pips at this point. Now, if Jose hits, he'll be all right because the arrow will be pointing towards him once again. But if either of us hit, or if Jack hits before it becomes Jose's turn, then then it doesn't affect Jose. Or I mean, our attacks will miss Jose and hit Jack only, and Jack will hit Jose and not us. So he's still on our team. But now at this point, he's gonna cleanse. So interesting play right there. Gonna get rid of the infection, but not the plague. So now I'm low on pips, and I don't have any. I don't have any stun protection, so Aaron's gonna go ahead and set up a stun before we start to throw out, perhaps an earthquake at this point. And now I'm going to continue infecting. We're going to be focusing basically on one player to knock out. So anyways, here is the choke from Jose, so that'll get both Aaron and me. So good play by Jose right there, knowing knowing a little bit of the mechanics behind beguile, because he did use that spell at the right time. Anyways, Storm player is going to blade up. Now, I remember Aaron and I were kind of smirking, to ourselves on that attack, that Efreet, because I don't have any attacks other than poison, just to break shields, just to break tower shields against Aaron. I'm really not a hitter at all with my build. So, seeing the storm with the blade up and that Aaron's protected with a shield, that if he gets hit, he'll be alright. We need to push as much damage into the last player right now as possible, now that he's infected as well. And if that storm player decides to hit, it will force it will force basically the storm player to just throw out his pips and not be able to heal. So he does that here, and I figured, well, if they're hitting me with that Efreet already and Aaron's not going to heal me, I'm going to go ahead and shield up just in case they are sort of learning from that beguile from earlier. As I've mentioned a couple of times in maybe other videos, death players and fire players and myth players are probably the most dangerous types that you'll come across, just because of manipulation spells, whether it's smoke screen or earthquake or beguile. I mean, if there's a death player anywhere and a life player is his teammate, I mean, I would definitely try to take out the death player, give yourself some room, some breathing room. A little security helps along the way when you're fighting against Beguiler. When you know that the person using Beguile is dead, you will feel safer in terms of healing, throwing a heal AoE such as Unicorn or Rebirth, or an attack AoE, such as Stormlord, Dragon, etc. So with a Beguiler that's dead, it doesn't create a 100% guarantee, but it creates a little security blanket, I guess, that you're not going to hurt your teammates all that much or help your enemies. So anyways, critical sprite right there on Jose. We need to get rid of him right now. So I'm looking for a way to suppress heals, where I think we're going to have Aaron try to knock out Jose in one hit right here. No, he's actually going to transfer all the damage over instead, so that they're both weak and worried about themselves. It's going to break off the tower and going to damage the storm heavily, as you can see. And unfortunately, Sprightly comes up, so that's going to be undone a little bit. But now both players are worried about heals. If the storm player heals the fire player, as you can see, he's lost pips now. And the fire, wow, here's a critical, so that fire player is going to regain all his health, knowing that what amulets they have. But now the storm player is hurt. He's going to be worried about heals and staying alive. Meanwhile, Jose may be healing. So instead of allowing the storm player to play a cleanse to try to remove that infection, Aaron and I both placed on weaknesses on top of Jose right there, making sure he can't hit as hard if he chooses to. Notice that I have not yet healed at this point. So anyways, and they've tried to weaken me entirely. So here's a little risky move in a way. Aaron's gonna put up a storm shield for me and a fire, increase all my fire shields all around, because we're not worried about healing me just yet, as you can see. And I mean, I have 3 weaknesses on me, which are stacked and are different. So they're assuming, oh, this guy can't Scarecrow now. So anyways, here comes the dragon. The shields are on top of me. I'll be able to block a few more fire damage if Aaron keeps stacking on the same type of shield. So now I'm out of pips for Rebirth, sort of, but I've got all these other cards back in my hand, and we're going to see, just in case that Jack decides to hit and Jose throws maybe some kind of attack, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and protect Aaron with the storm shield there. Meanwhile, Aaron's going to get rid of the tower shield to set up that storm and prep him for death, mainly because Jose still has an infection on top of him. So he's not going to be doing, heavy hitting heals. Meanwhile, that shield did also go up on Aaron, because he's the only one that's not protected by storm as well. And knowing that the storm player, Jack Stormrider, probably may get a critical out of it, we wanted to make sure Aaron, the myth player with subpar health, is still standing. So anyways, Jack is wide open for attack. We don't know if Jose only has enough for like a unicorn or a sprite or a fairy, but that's definitely not going to help. So anyways, I'm going to send that Medusa in and slam him down all the way. Fire ticks are still on me, that's okay. I'm going to infect Jose even further, just to ensure he can't heal, and now he's got a blade. If he uses a meteor, I might be going down. So seeing what Aaron has, maybe he has this defender pig and toss out the pips, and then I can dispel Jose from healing. But no, Aaron's going to go ahead and blade himself up and prepare for a massive attack on top of Jose. If Jose wants to heal, it's okay. Aaron's going to be ready for a hit, basically. So I'm going to use a rebirth here and try to regain pips in case the fire player decides to want to take me out. He's going to have to... oh wow, he went full... I mean, I don't even think he went full pips here. He just tossed out his pips plus the blade just to damage me as much as possible. But again, that rebirth was there just in case that fire decided to target just me, now that all my fire shields are gone. So now we're making sure, I'm going to play that, excuse me, that balance spell, ensure that, hey, he can't, reshuffle later on, but I guess he was trying to place a weakness on one of us. So now I'm going to try to suppress heals. He can play a fairy next, or a pixie of some sort. Aaron's going to play Vaporize to ensure that Jose won't be stunning us at some point, to just, again, putting on the spells, not only to stop certain schools of magic from being played, but also protecting those infections from being cleansed off, in case Jose decides to go that route. So now, I'm going to get rid of all these weaknesses in one go, I think, because I think they were 3 different types. And I'm going to be a major threat in terms in Jose's eyes, basically. No, just 2. So anyways, he's trying to stack up all these towers, but again, Aaron's going to go ahead and build up his attack, while I'm going to break off those shields with this damage over time, the poison. So now his shields are going to be ripped down faster than he can put them up. That's going to put Aaron in a major advantage, basically. Jose not realizing, oh, even though I have 2 tower shields, and even though Aaron's the first hitter, yeah, Death does have that damage over time. So there goes my shields. 1, 2, and then the 3rd one. He's going to be looking forward to a reshuffle soon, for himself at least. He's going to continue attacking me at this point, mainly because I guess I have the rebirth and the main healer. Not exactly sure why he's pumping all of his pips into me, where he could have saved maybe for a heal for his ally. So you don't want to throw out all your pips in a 2v2 necessarily. Unless it's definitely going to finish the game itself. So anyways, again, affecting his heal, not letting him bring back anyone. So yeah, with work, it's been it's been quite an adventure getting home and whatnot. And I've been even more tired than before. So if you're hearing the yawns, it's not that anything's boring, but that I've stayed up, handling some priorities, doing homework, and now finally resting. So yay. Anyways, always replacing that bubble. It's called a bubble war, if you've ever seen that in PvP, someone using that term or that jargon. Bubble war just means making sure that the other players cannot get their attacks boosted, because the bubbles act as, in a way, an infinite blade that can be replaced. So always want to take it down, no matter, especially if your opponents can benefit from that bubble. I want to try to get rid of it as soon as possible. So at this point, Jose's not a bit heal. I mean, he can still hit us, but at this point, that's all he's got. So Aaron's gonna try to finish this up with some massive damage right here. Double bladed, I think, Gargantuan Orthrits with a myth bubble up. So that'll end the game. And that's that. I mean, quick and easy. These 2 manipulations. I mean, we could use a life player, definitely, someone who can tank more than us and heal and be able to shuffle those heals. But when you don't have that benefit, you've gotta adjust. You've gotta change up your style so then you can compensate and cover your weaknesses. So while we didn't have impressive recovery rates and impressive health, we played in a way that required basically the other team to not do as much damage to us, and therefore they're kind of throwing out their pips, and that becomes ineffective. So, you know, something to keep in mind when you're in a situation you're uncomfortable or find strange with. So, anyways, hope you liked the video. Comment, subscribe, and rate it if you'd like to see some more. And I will see you in the spiral. GG.